Let's talk about sleep apnea on the trail. Anyone who backpacks or camps or sleeps on the ground in a sleeping bag or in a hammock knows generally your first night out is going to be the worst night of sleep you've had in a long time. But guess what? If you suffer from sleep apnea, it's going to be even worse. But we suffer through it. Some of us have taken the next step to find a solution. For those of you that are watching this video and have no idea what sleep apnea is, congratulations on finally making it out from underneath that rock. All the others that don't know, welcome to Earth. I'm Eric Coleman. Welcome to my channel. I don't know my leader. I can't take you to him.
I was going to excuse me.
All kidding aside, sleep apnea, or OSA, obstructive sleep apnea, is a sleep disorder that anywhere from 15 to 30% men or 10 to 30% women suffer from. The obstructive part is that at some point during the night that we sleep, our airway is cut off. And so our little lizard brain wakes us up just enough so that we start breathing again. You will not die from it, but you will not get good night's sleep. So why am I making this video? As a backpacker, like I said, your night on the trails are generally not going to be the best night's sleep, but sleep is really important for many reasons when it comes to getting our energy levels back up, resting our brains enough, letting our muscles rejuvenate. I was diagnosed with sleep apnea, I think like 13 or 14 years ago, so I have been using a CPAP ever since, and what CPAP stands for is continuous positive airway pressure, and this machine right here is what pumps air continuously through your nose throughout the night, so I don't stop breathing and I don't have that little lizard brain wake me up enough to just start breathing again. I think we all pretty much know this. We've got REM, or rapid eye movement sleep. That's where the brain is super active, and this actually helps rest the brain, believe it or not. Rapid eye movement consists of about 20 to 25% of our sleep time. The other part is what's called slow wave, or non-REM, or deep sleep. While we're out on the trail, deep sleep is probably the most important aspect of sleeping while we're out. Deep sleep phase actually gives our body the time to restore itself and the muscles to recover from those miles of pounding. Another thing to remember during the deep sleep cycle is that the pituitary gland actually releases growth hormone that aids in the recovery of that torn and damaged tissue from muscle strain. We got to get that deep sleep. Deep sleep, or non-REM sleep, consists of 40% of that sleep. So that you understand what's happening during the deep sleep cycle, our body is literally slowing down. The brain activity is very, very low. Our breathing slows down. By lowering that brain activity, this increases blood supply to the muscles, and that blood carries oxygen and nutrients to those damaged muscle fibers so that they can recover quicker. It's important that we get to a deep sleep while we're on the trail, and if we don't, we suffer.
Head hurts.
And that's what I did for years until I came across this wonderful video.
So is it possible to do backpacking with sleep apnea? Absolutely. And this is the key.
Scott Carroll doesn't have a big channel. In fact, he's probably only got like 50 subscribers. But he made a DIY hack for the CPAP that you can use while you're backpacking. Before I go into it, understand, I wish I could snap my fingers and not have to wear this thing on my face every night, but I've been doing it for so long, I know how much it helps. And that's why I looked for a solution to the backpacking sleep apnea problem. Be advised, this is not cheap. Let's be realistic. Those of us that are big into backpacking have thousands of dollars of gear in our closets, gear shed, on our back. The reality is $200, $250, $500 for a backpack, sleeping bags, tents, all the gear. Think of this as a Another game changer for your backpacking outdoor experience. Let's get into what I'm talking about gear-wise. First things first, you are carrying an expensive piece of medical equipment. You're going to want to have a bag that will protect the investment. Not saying it's going to be bulletproof, but you want something that is waterproof. What we have here is a travel CPAP Z2 Auto by Breeze. It's not cheap, ladies and gentlemen. The sticker price at Apnea Direct or CPAP.com, it's going to be $799. It's a lot of money for a little piece of plastic. By the time you get done, this will be the most expensive piece of gear you've got on your back. That's just the beginning. You can only imagine what batteries cost for these things. The last time I looked for a battery, a medical grade battery that would work with something like this, it was something like $300, and it would give you one night's sleep. One night's sleep. After learning that one battery, $300, $800 for a machine, I'm like, I'm just going to suffer. That's the way it's going to be.
You're going to suffer, but you're going to be happy about it.
So a medical type battery is out of the question. So that's why this is DIY. You're doing nothing to the machine. You're doing nothing to break it. You're not going to ruin the warranty on it. Although I might not share with who you're buying it from that you're going to take it out on the trail. What you're going to do, those of you that are familiar with hobby type of things like RC cars, RC planes, RC boats, there's a myriad of different types of batteries out there. What you're going to end up getting is the scary Lipo lithium polymer. These are pretty dangerous. You don't want to puncture these. And you're thinking, well, why the hell would I put this in a backpack stuffed with things? We got safety measures there. Battery of this size. This is huge. You can't feel the weight, but I'd say it's at least 1.5 pounds. 12,000 milliamps is this size of battery. I also have a 8,000 milliamp. Pretty easy to figure out. The size of the battery is going to determine, milliamp wise, the amount of time you're going to get out of a battery. With this battery, I think I got 5.5 days of good sleep, hiking from Mineral King on the western side of the Sierras, exiting at Mount Whitney. One of the coolest trips ever. If you haven't watched it, there's the link. 5.5 days of beautiful, glorious sleep. Then later in the fall, which I had a link, but I haven't done the video yet, I did a big trip in the Sierras, 8 days on the trail, 100 miles, had both of these batteries. Glorious, beautiful sleep. Not perfect sleep, not sleeping in my own bed with my giant CPAP, but best sleep ever. The safety measure are these little guys here. Now they're not heavy, but it is a protective sleeve that your batteries go into. These are fireproof. I believe, if you want to know technically, that's some sort of Nomex fire resistant stuff. I think for the most part, it's just going to protect the battery from any punctures while you're out on the trail. This 1200 milliamp battery that I have here, again, gave me 5.5 hours, was $89 at Hobby King. I think this one gave me 4 hours of good sleep. I think this one was $65. Again, not super cheap, but not $300 for 1 day's worth of sleep. So
This is the key.
another thing you're going to need is you have to have a battery charger. It's a universal charger. It charges many types of batteries. This type of charger does two things. 2 wires here. One of these goes into this, and this pigtail here goes into the lead on your battery. And then you have to set what type of battery you're charging. You've got a pigtail with a bunch of different leads on here. XT60 lead, Traxxas lead here, Tamiya lead. Keep in mind I had the XT60 here on this pigtail. The battery itself has XT90. If you don't find a universal charger pigtail that works with the batteries that you buy, I had to do a little bit extra step in the hack here. I had to make up male, female, different sides. That way they plug into, and you can then charge your battery. This is the female XT90. I had to get XT90 male leads so that I could then have a wire that runs to machine. Now how do we do that? We go on and find the barrel leads that are the size that work with this, and that's very easy. Barrel lead on this is a 2.5 millimeter for the Breeze Z2 Auto, and you can see plugged in, charged. the last thing you're going to need for your little setup is this voltage tester. Now this is very, very important. If you discharge that battery all the way down past a certain voltage on that battery, boom, you just actually turn this brick into a brick. You don't want to do that. Like I said, not super cheap, not super expensive, but you don't want to ruin your battery. You want this to last as long as possible. Basically, this voltage tester plugs into the thing at night like so. It's an alarm, essentially. It will tell you the voltage level on each battery, and then you set it to go off when the voltage dips down past that point of no return. So this will go beep, beep, beep in the middle of the night, and you'll know to wake up and unplug your CPAP and then go back to sleeping like a caveman. So the $1,000,000 question, what does this thing weigh? And is it worth it? Well, let's find out. Bring in the scale. So we're going to do this ounces and pounds. Z2 CPAP, voltage gauge or meter, and also the power cord. Put the bigger battery on first with the cases, because again, we're going to take these with. We'll do 2 weights here. We're going to do 1 battery for a 4-day trip, 5-day trip. There is the Q light. We can get it to stay on there. We have the mask. So we get this hose to stay on there without falling off. We'll make a little knot. 3 pounds, 14.8 ounces. That is for 5.5 days, essentially, with that 1200 milliamp. So let's throw this other battery on, and so you can see exactly what I carried with me on my 100-mile 8-day trip in the Sierras, which is yet to have been posted. And 5 pounds, 13.4 ounces. So basically about 5.5 pounds just in this part of my sleep system. Was it worth it? You be the judge.
All right, folks, that is it. This is the travel CPAP that will make your backpacking experience so much more enjoyable, because there's nothing like a good night's sleep. And that's the biggest con to being a backpacker. You never sleep well on the trail, and you certainly don't get the perfect night's sleep on the trail with your sleep therapy and a CPAP. But if it's something you can manage, cost and weight, it's a life changer. Check out Steve Carroll's video for all the details on how to go ahead and put this thing together. And if it's something you can't do, try one of the other sleep therapies. I'm interested to know if anyone has tried the mouth guard on the trail and if that makes a difference, because I might try it if it's worth it, because it's certainly a weight savings. So I hope this helps, folks. Let me know in the description if you do. If you don't, whatever, give me a like. If you enjoyed this, if you found this informative, and if you haven't had a chance to subscribe to my channel, please do so. It's always outdoor stuff and fun stuff. So thanks for watching. Good luck and sleep well.